Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, we'll be discussing my thoughts on Episode 8 of the DC Universe Titans series entitled Donna Troy. And much as I had speculated in my previous episode discussion video about this series, listing all of the problems and qualms that I have been having with it, I all but predicted the fact that Donna Troy would be a well-rounded, three-dimensional character that was likable and all this kind of stuff. And upon her immediately showing up on the scene in this episode, that was absolutely true. At least for my taste. I think she was immediately likable and had personality and great characterization, and it's been that way with all of these sort of guest starring characters, you know, Hawk and Dove in their own way, as I've talked about before, Jason Todd, the Doom Patrol, and that kind of thing. All of these sort of, you know, I guess you could say incidental characters carry much more characterization and depth and likability, relatability, than thus far the main titular foursome, the Titans themselves. You know, Corey, Rachel, Dick is relatively likable and relatively well-rounded, although he does do some unlikable things. And then Beast Boy is Beast Boy thus far. You know, he's the most recognizable as you know, hailing back to the origin, whether the comic page or the animated series. He's very much sort of likable, but they really haven't been playing up his character that much, at least for my tastes. But of course, the debut of Donna Troy comes on the coattails of yet another unnecessary left turn. Like a backseat driver reaching across to the front and taking the steering wheel and driving the car off the road. We're again splitting these characters up to you know, sort of bring about the debut of Donna Troy. It is the secondhand byproduct, if you will, of Dick leaving the group once again. And oh, there's this beautiful, heartfelt, you know, embrace between Rachel and Dick on the street corner, and you know, he's leaving them in the capable hands of Corey, who doesn't still to this point know who she is. She's beginning to suffer these, you know, sort of flashbacks all throughout this episode that are leading to WTF thrown out the window because, of course, Corey's whole mission for being there in the first place naturally has to be to kill the Raven, to kill Rachel. And, of course, we end with the cliffhanger where she's suddenly realized she's staring right in the eyes of her quarry, you know, and, of course, Rachel, just bloody murder. It's just Jesus fucking Christ all over the place. You know, I've talked about the divide between these characters, the lack of relatability between them or likability between them, and they don't have to be, as I've said before, they don't have to be carbon copies of what was in the comic books or what was in the animated series, you know. They can still be somewhat likable and relatable even if they aren't fully formed three-dimensional versions of the finalized Teen Titans as characters. But they have to have some character. They have to have some likability. I mean, the whole aspect of Gar, Beast Boy, and you know, Corey on the train, like, I was like, oh, maybe this is going to be their time to shine. Maybe we're going to actually get some characterization. They're going to find some relatability. And I think that's what they were going for. But, like, you know, the whole aspect of Corey being amnesiac and not knowing who she really is and all this kind of stuff, being on edge, especially after everything they just went through with the asylum and all this kind of stuff, it makes her sort of carry herself at arm's length from everyone else, even the team she's supposed to be so closely knit with and watching over. We see how well that went. You know, let Rachel go off with her mom, and we'll just leave that be for now till we get where we're going from point A to point B. And I'm going to sit here in the bar car with Gar, you know, but I'm not really going to converse with him that much. I mean, even though he, you know, the actor who plays Beast Boy Gar is likable and approachable. He, you know, this was once again a perfect example of his being very much what I'm longing for, a three-dimensional, relatively likable and relatable character. He's conversing with Corey, and they're bringing up Rachel, and, you know, is she mad at me? And, oh, you want to make out with her, which gets really awkward really quickly, you know, judging by the age differences here. But the whole characterization of Corey, because she doesn't know who she is, And arguably by the end, is it going to be for the better or for the worse that she's going to figure out who she is if she's here to kill Rachel, you know, which is probably a stupid misdirect or something. You know, she's keeping everyone at a distance, and she's coming across as cardboard, as unlikable, as, you know, I can't get any inch, I can't get any give or sway of characterization, of depth of character, of likability or relatability with her character. Whereas if we go back to where Dick is with Donna Troy and everything, barring the bad CGI of her jumping over the garbage truck in the alleyway, she's completely likable, and her likability rubs off on Dick, well and truly. The whole aspect of his not being good at small talk in the art gallery, the photo gallery, whatever you want to call it, and the guy comes up and you know, he starts rambling off about the camera and the kind of film and then the chromatic key and whatever. And this guy gets saved by one of his ladies, you know, his lady friends off to the side or whatever. I loved Dick's little comment, you know, hey, what's the Penguin up to right now? You know, I need somewhere else to be. I'll go fight a villain, you know, instead of this stuff. That to me, it was perfect. I liked that characterization. I liked that aspect of Dick as a character in that moment. It made me laugh, it made me chuckle, and that's all I ask. Personality and likability for these characters. You know, the whole aspect of the guy on the train, Corey is suspicious of him, and she's thinking back to the asylum. It's one of these people following them, whatever it is. Of course, he proves to be a U.S. Marshal or whatever it is, and you know, they have the wanted information on Corey, so they're going to stop the train to try to arrest her. All this kind of stuff, and it just, once again, it's like, I've had no connectivity with her as a character. Starfire is one of my all-time favorite comic book or you know, fictional characters in general. And I'm trying desperately to find something to relate to her character, whether something reminiscent of the character from the comic page or the animated series, or just something recognizable, something likable as a three-dimensional character, some personality. And because of her amnesiac quality, because of her standoffish, keep everyone at arm's length-ness about herself, the way the actress carries, you know, the performance, I have found nothing along those lines. I have, in fact, been somewhat turned off by how easy she, you know, dispatches the police officer. She blew up a whole train car, taking out who knows how many, you know, officers just doing their jobs, much as we saw with, like, you know, Jason Todd. But at least Jason Todd had personality, was a likable character and whatever. Not so much with Corey, and it's really pissing me the fuck off, because I love Starfire. I love the character of Corey. There are hints and whispers, you know, as far as the relationship goes between she and Dick. You know, something that hails back to the comics, something that hails back, it was lightly touched upon, I think, in the animated series. You know, they have somewhat of a romantic, or in this case, lustful relationship, and that is something that touches upon a recognizability with those two characters, of course. And even in spite of that, it's just like, you know, there's no real depth to her character, or likability, engageability for me with her character. And I have to fault the writing, I have to fault the direction. I don't think it's for lack of performance capability on the part of Anna Diop, who was cast. I you know, when she was announced as being cast as this character, my first reaction was excitement. I was like, oh, hell yeah, I can't wait to see Starfire in live action. And even though I wasn't really familiar with the actress's, you know, catalog or filmography or anything like that, again, it was excitement. I couldn't wait to see what she would behold for us. And I just feel like the whole approach of this show is just off. It's off the rails. It's not correct. It's incorrect. The focus, the drive, where these characters are supposed to be coming from, how they're supposed to be interconnecting and becoming interpersonally relatable to each other, there's none of it. There's just none of it. I like a lot of the allusions to things. This episode was a perfect case of show me, don't tell me. Don't tell me, don't show me a flashback of young Robin and young Donna Troy, you know, talking about how scarring it was to deal with the Joker. if that was such a major thing in the history of Dick Grayson's life, and was so directional, and was something he so needed to, confide in Donna at that time, show it. Show at least glimpses of it. I mean, we get mentions of the Joker. We get mentions of Diana, Wonder Woman. We get mentions of the Penguin. All probably better things that would be befitting of entertainment on screen than the characterization so far in this series. Again, I don't think it's for lacking of efforts in the actors. At least, with the last episode, I had something to say a little bit about, Tegan Croft's playing Raven, Rachel as somewhat dismissive, like, I don't fucking care, let's just get out of here, I found my mom, that's all I needed to do, let's go. When Beast Boy is traumatized by biting the guy, and he's still carrying that. He has to relate that to Corey in this episode, and it's like, trying to, like, throw your emotions at a brick wall. He's stonewalled because she has no idea who she is. She has no idea why she's here. She has no sort of, easy trusting of anyone because of all of that. And at least for me, that just makes her wholly unapproachable and unrelatable as a character, unlikable as a character. And then she's blowing up the train car, and she's choking out Rachel in the end. And it's just like, oh, Jesus. Why is it such an uphill fucking battle to make these characters, the main foursome of this show, as likable as the incidental characters? Why are they second nature to any of all of this? With moments. The little penguin reference. The likability of Donna Troy and how she interacts with Dick. They know how to do it well. It's like they're blatantly choosing not to have that be the form and function, the focus of this fucking show. And so I have to ask, why should I be invested? I'm still watching because of those smaller moments, because of the grand hope that eventually it will align that way, that these characters will find themselves, but they're so unlikable, unapproachable, in almost 95% of every estimation we've seen them from episode 1. But I'm still going to watch it to fruition, because I know, I've seen, the Doom Patrol episode in and of itself is a perfect primary example of them getting it right, getting the characterization, the approachability, the likability, the engagement, the entertainment value of characters in the DC universe. Why in the blue-blooded blazes of hell they can't do that with the main characters, I don't know. It has to be done this way with some deliberance. It has to be deliberate. They have to be deliberately making these characters unlikable, and I don't understand why. I guess that's somebody's idea of these characters will eventually come together, they'll eventually fully form, and they'll gel, and it'll be worth the wait or something. But you know what? I want a punching bag. I want to put a punching bag up in the corner of my room that I can just have at after every episode that leaves me hanging with no likable characters, with no engaging story. Because that's all I'm getting from this, at least in the majority. And don't even get me started on the whole conversation between Rachel and her mom talking about her dad. Is it fucking Trigon or is it Brother Blood? Make up your fucking minds. Because it sounds like you're intermixing them. It sounds like you're putting them both together. And I would expect a lot better coming from people like Jeff Johns, who fucking wrote the book on the DC Universe in the last few years. The last, decade. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of Teen Titans, DC Universe's Titans, the series, episode 8, Donna Troy. Did you like Donna Troy? Did you find that I was right that she was, very personality-filled, three-dimensional, likable, approachable character after all, as I suggested? I did. That's how I found her to be. I didn't like everything that, she was involved with in the episode, the whole poaching and trying to not take this guy down, but trying to get the bigger boss. Like, the whole grand scope of that really didn't, you know, solidify for me. It was kind of on shaky ground the way it was approached, and of course Dick coming in and trying to beat the hell out of the guy because don't let him get away and whatever. But yeah, anything goes in the comments below. Love it or hate it. Let me know what your thoughts on it are. And if you'd like to consider supporting my channel and my efforts for future videos, I'd like it very much if you would take a look at my PayPal contribution link posted both in the description as well as the comments below. Anything you saw fit to send my way would be 2 thumbs up from me and would be a direct line to supporting my channel and my efforts. You have options you can explore as far as setting up a monthly contribution, a one-time only kind of thing, or send a contribution along with a personal message requesting topics I may discuss in the future, or for potential shout-outs or anything else that floats your boat. And as I say, it'd be appreciated if you took the time to check that out. So otherwise, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.